morning, everybody. Oh, before I forget, Matthew, this is Teepa and Matthew. And this evening, this is Eastern time this evening. In Australia, it will be tomorrow morning. It'll be Tuesday morning. We are getting together. I'm getting together with Joanna Fix and Bobby Redmond and Open the Doors, a group from Australia. And we will be in Australia. I won't. Manda and Beth will be in Australia coming up real soon to talk about the difference between caring and uncaring care and what we believe is the biggest challenge in residential care programming and home programming for people who are living with brain change and families or friends who want to support or professionals who want to support. But what's the biggest challenge going on here? And so we have people living with brain change participating because no care about me without me. And I'll be part of that conversation as well. And it'll be from 7 to 8 this evening for anybody who's interested. So it's an unusual thing for us to do. So Matthew can tell you probably how you might be able to access, or he'll make sure that we have a link.
Yeah, I will, Teepa. I will put that in the thread after we do our broadcast. I'll go find it because I know they posted out, and I think we reshared it too.
I think so too, but I just want to make sure. Heads up this morning. It's Monday morning in the States, Monday afternoon, evening actually in Australia already. So they'll be up tomorrow morning, and we'll be up this evening.
Cool.
Still,
yes, I will put that link in the thread for folks to find
Perfect.
easy so that they'll be able to go watch it. Cool. That's
Cool.
awesome.
There we go. There we go. All right. Now on to our question for today. So Matthew, we had somebody who wrote in and they're describing a situation where she just won't participate. She's not participating. And it's a new situation, or at least it's a situation that has developed. So Matthew, can you give us the full sort of thing that we got? Because in this way, we have only the data that we've been provided, and then we have ourselves. So I'm going to turn to a resource, and it's one I've been using a good bit lately because we just redid it. So I figured we might as well use it because it puts a lot of things together in one place. And so it's the Dementia Care Partner Guide, used to be Caregiver. Nope. And you'll hear caregiver in this question. So there we go. On page 68, 69, you will have available in the book actually are 6 pieces of the puzzle, because that's what we're going to be talking about, problem solving. So rather than a fix, we're going to get super curious and want to figure things out. And then the good news is we did get a little info on the type of dementia she has. So we're taking a look at that, and we will be using our pipes and our 5 Ps here as we seek to support someone. And I suspect we're going to go back here as well and take a look at different gem states and how we might be supporting different gem states. Plus, right in front of this one, we'll have a lot about how do you connect. Use it in positive physical approach, positive action starters, positive personal connectors, and then hand under hand supporting guidance, particularly when we're approaching the person. And I heard in the question a mention of pain. So Matthew, let's go ahead and get the question, the data that we have so far.
You got it, Teepa. So the question we got was someone who's living with Alzheimer's that decides that she likes to stay in her pajamas and stay in her assisted living apartment all day.
Okay. So she's not coming out of her AL apartment. She's not getting into day clothes. She's wearing pajamas, which to me speaks to comfort kind of thing. Classically, no bra, for many people, I don't know. Some people do. No underwear, just your bottoms and your tops. And I don't know what those look like. For me, it's just a sleep shirt, but I don't know about other people. It's a real person. Oh, so this goes to the person piece of the puzzle, where we know some things, and people who are active in the case would know a little more, those who are doing the hands-on part, because they could see sort of what else is involved here, other than the just wanting to stay in the room in the PJs, like other personal care kinds of things that might be creeping into the mix. So let's see, what else you got, Matthew? So she wants to stay in her AL apartment. So it sounds to me like, up till recently anyway, she had been assisted living only, meaning she was doing everything mostly herself with check-in or episodic help. Okay. So let's see what's happening.
Yeah. So speaking of comfort, Teepa, going into so the part you were talking about, she has a bad back, is what we also know, and it's
Oh,
very
bad
difficult.
back.
Bad
Mm,
back, and it's
mm,
difficult for her physically
mm.
to get up and to get dressed.
Okay, so she has some challenges physically. I'm thinking that pain probably is part of this equation then. Probably more than just discomfort. I suspect when she tries to do those things, it's uncomfortable to the point of pain.
Mm,
And when people, if they've got their their five human needs, one of the needs is to avoid pain. So I mean, she doesn't like discomfort. She wants to be comfortable, which we're seeing evidence of. And one of the comforts is not getting dressed because that's uncomfortable to the point of pain. But the other is she's more comfortable in her room than out of her room,
mm.
which when she is in pajamas, well, duh. I don't know about you, but if I don't have underwear on and I just got my sleep shirt on, I'm not sure I want to go down to breakfast in the main dining area. But I also don't want pain. So therefore, I don't want to get out of my PJs. So tell you what, why don't you bring my food up here? Seems like a perfectly good solution to me.
And I have
Extra coffee, by the way. Yeah,
there,
bring me
there,
extra.
there you go. Make sure like a pot that I can like pour from.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, when you think about it, like you're saying, Tipa, any of us would most likely potentially do something
What
like
do the
that if we're
doctors
having a
say
lot of
first
pain.
when you have back pain? What's the first thing you're supposed to do?
Oh yeah, go get some rest. Go,
Bed
yeah, be
rest.
careful. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
rest your muscles. Go ahead, take
Take
some
relax.
anti-inflammatories, take some meds to calm the potential distress, and then just give it a couple days. But with Alzheimer's, what's the difference between a couple days and a couple weeks or a new habit? Because it sounds like she has a routine. It's just not the one other folks would like. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the habit that's now developed? Because now there is a pattern. What's the pattern?
Yeah. So at this point, Teepa, she's not. So she the what's happening? She's not going down to the dining room. She's not going down to events. She has at least three caregivers, three private caregivers who come. Or I'm sorry, we
No,
have a
I think
private caregiver who comes in three times. I'm sorry, I misread that.
3 times a
Three
week.
times a week to
There
help
you go. That's
support.
I was
Yeah,
waiting for you to get there.
yeah.
It's in code,
That's
by
her
the way.
routine. Yeah,
Yeah, 3 times a week, you get a private carer who comes in and does the routine. Now,
the
what
routine.
we don't know is when the private carer does the routine, does she get into clothing? Is she up in a chair? Is she moving around the apartment? We don't know that. Like, is she up and moving in her room? Is she going to a sink? Is she washing up? Is she continent? Is she cleaning herself up? Is she washing up at the sink or is she washing up at the bedside? What's exactly going on there?
Mm,
All right, now I'm going to have to make an assumption or two here about some puzzle pieces because we don't have them all. We know that she's had some health worsening, I suspect, because this sounds like this is a relative, that amount of discomfort to pain is getting worse. And one of the things we know is dysmobility breeds dysmobility, particularly when it's uncomfortable moving. And what she's done, it sounds like, is really back off of things that would have given her some pleasure with mobility. And the only mobility she's experiencing is uncomfortable mobility or painful mobility. And we also noticed that for this person, I'm suspecting, but I don't really know, I need more data, that she had been more active, more going down to the dining room, more going to activities, and now she's pulled back from that. And she has Alzheimer's, but we don't know really the gem state. We don't know if she's diamond, emerald sliding to a new gem state, because the reason I bring that up is sometimes what could look like a refusal or an inability or not wanting to could be, I'm having more trouble wrapping my head around being in different spaces with different people. I'm having more trouble with language. I'm having more trouble engaging. So it's easier if I don't try to do that. Sort of like discomfort physical might also be discomfort emotional or social or language discomfort. So we have a lot of curiosity here. And I'm curious about the stakeholders, the folks who are going in that. that private caregiver 3 times a week, what is she finding? What is her skill set? What's her history? I am really curious. Are we asking this woman, I could really use your help? I know you're uncomfortable. Let's get you something for that. I'm going to give it about 20 minutes before we try to do anything. So, and you know what? Your favorite thing, hot chocolate. Tell you what, sit on up at the side of the bed because I've got your hot chocolate. Let's do that because I may want to look at, spiking up her blood sugar a little bit. But I definitely want to know, are we using PPA, PPC, PAS? In other words, that's code. Are we using our approach to really assess her ability state? Are we using our connection to get her to want to do something with us? And are we using a positive action starter, PAS, to get her up and going? What have I planned in advance? What have I prepared? How have I initiated? And can I get what kind of participation? And what am I evaluating? And what needs to sustain or switch? I would say the puzzle pieces that we're most interested in, the environment. Maybe we don't go to the dining room. Maybe we just sit at the table somewhere in a nook near her bedroom up on the second floor, but with one other person, or maybe just the caregiver that day. Maybe we look and really talk to the stakeholders, the family members. Is anything going on, or what has gone on before? What's her background? Was she a morning person? Not a morning person. How long has this pain been going on? What's been done about it? And how is she using her time? Does she feel valued? Does she feel like she makes a difference? Is she having fun? Or is she drowsy and groggy because she's not sleeping and she's watching TV late into the night? I don't know. Lots of unanswered questions, Matthew. So I'll pass it to you for a second here.
Yeah, Teepa, and I like the idea of it's really helping us though to start to narrow in on some things that we can start to really get curious about, because often in these moments, this is where people can start to feel stuck. The caregivers are starting to come up with those phrases that we hear often, which is, "Well, I've tried everything." And how
She's just
often,
uncooperative. I
yeah,
mean, she just won't go anywhere. And it's like, I hear you. Sounds like we're really stuck here. So we've got to change something to get unstuck. I mean, I rarely see stuck getting unstuck without a change. So let's see. What are we going to do? I think we'll have to maybe figure out what gem state she is, because that can make a huge difference when I sort that out. Alzheimer's is a big umbrella itself. I mean, we know we have the umbrella of dementia, but Alzheimer's just says, okay, so she has trouble with immediate recall for sure, I'll bet. She's starting to probably have some language things, but I don't know how long she's been living with Alzheimer's or what else might be going on. We know pain is there. What kind of meds is she on? What kind of program for resolution? Do we want to involve a home care PT or maybe an OT? Do we want to look at what's getting in her way of being more active? Is this something related to the dementia, or is this something related to osteoarthritis? Or could she have a collapsed another vertebrae if she's osteoporotic? I mean, lots of possibilities, but there's also a lot of pain associated with being lonely and stuck and not feeling real good and not having a lot of energy. So lots of opportunities. As my friends say, we live in interesting times. So get interested, get curious. Consider if she's an emerald, maybe there are strategies in here for that. If she's diamond like, well, we could, or maybe truly she's more sensory driven and she's amber like because of this pain, or ruby. And we've got to get her to a different brain state with support before we'll sort out what's getting in her way, because it sounds like a change. And when it's a change, then it's time for us to change from giving care to partnering through care. So till next time, take care with your care, take care of yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for the question. And if you have more data, let us know so we can follow up and move it forward. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Teepa. Bye, everybody.